0 here. Why did it do that? I'm bringing you guys all a brand new episode of Horror Theory. Welcome everybody to Horror Theory, the best horror related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome everybody into the show. And today we've got an interesting one. We're going to go ahead and talk about a number of things here tonight. I've been looking forward to this, guys, because let me put it to you like this. There's a lot of things to talk about within the world of horror. Within just the world of gaming as a whole, there's a lot of things to talk about. And so I'm excited to go ahead and talk with all of you guys here tonight. Wolf, what's up, Wolf? I really want State of Decay 3. Yeah, totally agree with you, man. It's been interesting. We've really dedicated Horror Theory in a large part to State of Decay 3 content. We have been creating a ton of State of Decay 3 content for you guys. Consistent content, whether it's news, updates, theories, analysis, all of those things you can find right here on Horror Theory in relation to State of Decay 3. And don't worry, Wolf, we're going to be talking about State of Decay 3 tonight without a shadow of a doubt, because there's some things that we're certainly concerned about. And, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's things that, we can take from the stuff that we know to assume or to, kind of just debate or talk about what could be happening or what could be coming in the future from Undead Labs, from Xbox Game Studios, and things of that nature. We got 2 whole trailers, no release date. It's like they're teasing us. That's an interesting point. I don't know if it's so much that they're teasing us or if it's just a systemic issue at Xbox, where I've stated this a lot, guys. I believe that we get 2 trailers, but we have to remember how far apart those 2 trailers were. We're talking State of Decay's reveal trailer came out in 2020. 4 years later, we get trailer 2 at the Xbox Game Showcase of 2024. And look, between trailer 1 and trailer 2, I've stated this, guys, a lot. And I will continue to pound the table about this. Trailer 1, in my personal opinion, was better than trailer 2. It was more compelling, in my opinion. Introducing zombie animals was something that was innovative. I thought was really interesting. And when I look back now at that trailer of 2024, yeah, the graphics look great. It looks like a great looking game, let alone the greatest looking State of Decay we've ever seen. But no zombie animals in trailer 2. A lot of the same things that we've already known from State of Decay 1 and 2, like similar zombies. A lot of similarities to the first 2 games. They didn't stray too far away. They didn't lean into the zombie animals. And of course, I know that the first trailer was not done by Undead Labs, which is crazy to me. They didn't make that one. So maybe they were like, you know what? We don't want to go in that direction at all with zombie animals. We just want to do more of the same, which is fine. But I feel that if you want to continue pushing a franchise forward, you really need to innovate. One of my biggest gripes with The Walking Dead was I always felt that The Walking Dead had huge potential as a show to be a great zombie apocalyptic show, but there was a failure to innovate, in my personal opinion. Why were there no zombie bears in The Walking Dead? Why was there no zombie dogs? Why were there no runners? Why was it only walkers? You see what I'm saying? There was a lack of innovation where I believe that hurt The Walking Dead in the long run. And so great concept, but not not capitalized on in terms of innovation. I feel that State of Decay 3, I'm just hoping that it doesn't fall in that same trap just in a video game where there's a lack of innovation. I mean, outside of graphics, right? We know the graphics are going to be way, way better than State of Decay 1 or State of Decay 2. But outside of graphics, are you innovating the franchise? Are you taking it to the next level? And so that's where I get concerned about State of Decay 3. You know, in games like Call of Duty, say what you want about Call of Duty, but that's a game and a franchise that comes out every single year. And guess what they do with that franchise? It's not Madden. Don't tell me it's a copy and paste, because it's not. Call of Duty goes from boots on the ground to jetpacks, back to boots on the ground, World War II era, World War I era, modern day, futuristic. They've done so much within the realm of the FPS genre as we know it, and that's why it's so compelling for people. And they've been innovative, period. Omni movement is the most recent, change that happened to Call of Duty, where the movement was just unlike anything we've ever seen in Call of Duty's history. So what I am saying, guys, is I believe that State of Decay 3 is still coming, right? I don't believe it's canceled. They've got the Coalition, the folks working on Gears of War, helping out with State of Decay 3. They've got Obsidian, the folks making Grounded 2, the Outer Worlds 2. They're helping. So they have all hands on deck, along with Undead Labs, to get this thing done. And I believe they will get it done. And I believe it will be the biggest State of Decay of all time. The question is will it have legs for the long term? Or is it going to be an unmitigated disaster? That being like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation that happened just within the zombie survival horror realm. That's what we don't want. And so if they're taking their time for that, awesome. But I think it's a systemic issue at Xbox. So 2026 just come. Sooner, I want to see the new Toy Story 5 and pray that State of Decay 3's release window drops on Xbox. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Kind of wish State of Decay 2 had more maps. I mean, yeah, sure. I would love more content, obviously, guys, in State of Decay 2. I mean, I think it's kind of clear, but to me, it's like they're working on State of Decay 3, get that game done, and then add all the stuff that you might have wanted to do that you never got the chance to in State of Decay 2, do it with State of Decay 3. Horror Theory, this is coming to us from Dean Malenko. If your father was highlighted with a Hammer of Dawn, what are you doing? If you was on the same team and no respawns in real life. All right. That's a really good question, man. If my father was highlighted with the Hammer of Dawn, it's been a hell of a ride, Dad. It depends. Am I right next to him, or am I like a ways from him? Like, are we on the phone? Like, what's the situation here? But yeah, if I was on the same team and had no respawns, that's the moment in time where you put your big boy pants on and it's time to go grind and hit the shot. There's moments in time, guys, where you got to be the guy or that girl that hits the shot. Who are you going to trust on your team when you need to, you're going to clutch up a 1v2 or, you know, like one man army type situation or whatever, or you need to hit the shot, fourth quarter, 3 seconds left on the clock. You need to hit the shot because you're going to, the play's being schemed for you to be wide open. You need to hit that. And there's moments in time where we have to do that. So that's, I mean, look, I mean, it's better lock in, buddy. I tried telling people to play State of Decay 1 and 2. State of Decay 1 to watch the SOD3 trailers. They say no, it doesn't interest me. You know, it's really interesting, man. State of Decay is a hidden, like, I wouldn't say it's so much a hidden gem. I would say that it is slowly but surely, it's growing in a pretty, like, quietly growing at a rapid rate. I mean, like I said, I believe that when we talk about zombie simulation titles, zombie simulation horror games, State of Decay 3 will be the biggest on planet Earth, and it's not even going to be close when State of Decay 3 comes out. Mark my words. You guys can book it right now because State of Decay 3 is going to not only have the best graphics we've ever seen, right? Unreal Engine 5. You have 3 teams working on this title, being Undead Labs helming it. Then you got the Coalition helping them probably with multiplayer more than likely because the Coalition, obviously they make Gears of War. So them helping State of Decay 3, it reminds me, or I should say, makes me think that they're probably helping with multiplayer. And Obsidian, the guys and girls who made Grounded, as well as the Outer Worlds, they're helping Undead Labs. I'm thinking that they're probably helping with maybe some co-op elements, like a horde mode maybe. And maybe the Coalition's doing that. I mean, it's hard to say, but you got all hands on deck. So what I'm saying is, I just think that State of Decay, it's growing quietly, but it's creating a massive fan base. And there's a big following of what's happening with State of Decay 3. Guys, we've been creating content now on the channel about State of Decay 3 because we're very interested in it, but you guys are as well. Like, you want to know what's going on with State of Decay 3 as well. And so what we're seeing is that there is a yearning, a real passion for State of Decay as a franchise, that there is a belief that this thing could be massive. And I believe that as well. Going back to Battlefield 6 when it releases, you know, I don't blame you, King. I think Battlefield 6 is going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible, dude. From playing I don't know, dude. I really think Battlefield 6 is going to be something special, but I've gotten in trouble in the past. Okay, so you guys, for those of you who don't know, we run a channel called We're Animal. It's our team channel, and we talk about everything in the world of first-person shooters. So Call of Duty and Battlefield has been a big talking point. Well, I've made some videos there, guys, and if you haven't seen them, I have said some stuff that's been relatively controversial to a lot of people, or it might just be the Battlefield hive mind that's coming in to completely annihilate me in the comment sections. But I've stated this. I've said that Battlefield 6 is going to be great. I think it's going to be the biggest Battlefield game we have ever seen. I don't even know if it's going to be close. I think it's going to be huge. And I do believe that there's going to be a lot of fans of Call of Duty who are actually going to go over to Battlefield because it's kind of what the community wants, is more of like a modern, grounded, not all these crazy skins like Beavis and Butthead, American Dad, and so on and so forth, right? Call of Duty's kind of just hasn't had a lot of competition. But you want to know something? Competition breeds greatness. And so I'm going to tell you guys this. Black Ops 6, I thought was a great Call of Duty. I really do. Sure, a lot of hackers, a lot of cheaters. They didn't add ranked play until pretty late, which they're notorious to doing this. But I thought Black Ops 6 overall was an outstanding Call of Duty. I love 2v2 gunfight, probably my favorite game mode, outside of maybe Search and Destroy. But I loved Black Ops 6. Black Ops 7, okay, here's the thing. Say what you want about Black Ops 7, right? That initial reveal trailer that came out was the worst Call of Duty trailer I have ever experienced, witnessed, closely observed that has ever come out from Call of Duty. The worst. When we're watching the trailer, the reveal, I was like, is this Halo? I thought the girl in it was Cortana, just with tattoos. So I was like, is this Halo? And then we were like, is this Mass Effect? Is this a Stranger Things game? Because of the way that they had the camera angles and stuff upside down. I was like, what is this? And then we find out it's Call of Duty. And I thought it was the biggest piece of Call of Duty trash I've ever seen. But guess what? It garnered 40 million views. Ladies and gentlemen, 40 million views. To give you guys some context, the multiplayer reveal for Battlefield 6, I think just recently got 10 million views for the multiplayer reveal. Black Ops 7 got 40 million views. And then on top of that, the multiplayer reveal comes out for Call of Duty and surpassed the numbers of viewership for Black Ops 7. It passed Battlefield 6's multiplayer reveal in like less than 24 hours. They're not on the same level. And really, it's not even close. Call of Duty is set such a high bar that in terms of just a ravenous fan base, I'm not saying, guys, that Call of Duty's better than Battlefield or whatever. What I'm saying is that there is a fan base around Call of Duty unlike any other fan base in the world. Literally, it's that big. It's that ravenous. It is, whether it's good, bad, doesn't matter. Guess what? A lot of people are comparing Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, and Battlefield 6 to Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1, which was a year where Infinite Warfare got the most dislikes on a Call of Duty trailer ever. But on top of that, that reveal trailer, or I should say the multiplayer reveal trailer, it was one of the top most disliked YouTube videos of all time. But guess what? Infinite Warfare still sold more than Battlefield 1. It was the best-selling game that year. So here's what I'm saying. Black Ops 7, say what you want about it, it's going to mollywop Battlefield 6 from a numbers perspective for two reasons. Number one, the viewership I just told you about, the 40 million views for the reveal trailer and then, or the teaser trailer and then the actual multiplayer reveal, it surpassed Battlefield 6 in like less than 24 hours. That's one part of it. It's just a much bigger franchise. But number two is Xbox Game Pass. How is Battlefield 6 going to compete with Xbox Game Pass? Xbox owns Call of Duty. It's going to release day one on Game Pass, and the numbers are going to be inflated in a huge way. But see, when you have it on a subscription like that, people are going to come back. They just are. Even if the game is like, you know, maybe a little bit shaky at launch or whatever, I'm just telling you guys that it is going to be the biggest game of the year. It just is. Call of Duty is going to be huge again this year. And once again, we talk about innovation, like what State of Decay 3 needs to do. They're innovating again with Call of Duty. And a lot of people are like, oh, they're not innovating. No. They're innovating, guys. Like, think about it like this. You've got Omni Movement, which was innovative back in Black Ops 6. But now you've got Omni Movement, but now you might be getting a jetpack perk. You have wall running or wall bouncing. You have a grapple that you can use now. Specialists might be coming back. I mean, there's a lot of things here that are different that we have seen maybe in Call of Duty's history, but a long time ago. and then some new things that we've never seen before, and some new game modes, and so on and so forth. And so I'm just saying that, mark my words, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is going to be massive once again. Battlefield 6 is going to be huge too, but they're on two different playing fields. That's all I'm saying. Let's do, Wolf says, let's do predicts for State of Decay 3 when it drops. Trailer 3 will possibly either say coming next year and wishlist now, or they drop the release date and it comes out the next month after, or etc. So, okay. I've stated this a lot on the channel. State of Decay 3, I don't believe that we are going to hear anything. Guys, and trust me, I want to hear stuff right now. I really do. But I don't believe it's going to happen. State of Decay 3, we will more than likely not hear a single thing from the developers, from nobody, until the Xbox Game Pass, the Xbox Game Showcase of 2026. Okay? What do I think we're going to see at the Xbox Game Showcase of 2026 for State of Decay 3? I have no insider information, guys. We are trying to get information about it, okay? I promise we are working behind the scenes to try to get more and more information about this stuff. But right now, we don't know. At the Xbox Game Showcase of next year, I do believe that we are going to get a release date. We will get a release date trailer with gameplay in that release date trailer. And I got to tell you, I don't think it's coming out next year. Now, like I said, I have no insider information, and I'll explain why I believe that, like why I believe that we're not going to see anything from State of Decay 3 in terms of it releasing next year, is for a couple of reasons. The first part of this, guys, is the slate for Xbox games is starting to get pretty packed as you move into the later part of 2026, more than likely, okay? Let me give you an example. Probably Xbox's biggest IP outside of Call of Duty, right? Which is going to be coming out probably October, November, more than likely November. And I'll tell you why. November again, because you have November this year for Black Ops 7. I think it's going to come out November of next year, and that'll probably be Modern Warfare 4. But here's why I think State of Decay 3 is going to get pushed to 2027. The game that I believe is going to be the direct. So for those of you who don't know, the Xbox Game Showcase is Xbox's biggest, showcase of games, upcoming games, things of that nature each year. And it's in the summer. Every year. This year, the Xbox Game Showcase, we did a watch party for it on Horror Theory, and we were hoping to see State of Decay 3, but we didn't. We were also hoping to see Gears of War E-Day, but we didn't. And so what I think is going to happen here is next year at the showcase, we're going to see a direct, which this year it was the Outer Worlds 2. So right after the Xbox Game Showcase concluded, they had an entire showcase just for the Outer Worlds 2, where they were just showing gameplay, all kinds of different new features, things of that nature. I believe the direct for the Xbox Game Showcase next year is going to be Gears of War E-Day. I don't believe it will be State of Decay 3. I believe it will be E-Day. State of Decay 3, guys, or I should just say State of Decay as a franchise, is not quite a flagship IP yet for Xbox. I believe it's coming. Mark my words, guys. I believe it's coming after State of Decay 3. Gears of War is a flagship IP for Xbox. Halo, flagship IP. Fable. We've got a number of games that have been around for so long within Xboxes that Xbox currently possesses, right? Or holds the rights to. Gears of War E-Day is going to be that direct for next year. And so if Gears of War E-Day comes out next year, which I believe it will, I believe that it's going to be the direct for next year, and they're going to announce the release date for Gears of War E-Day, October of 2026. Black Ops, or I shouldn't say Black Ops, I believe it's going to be Modern Warfare 4. Modern Warfare 4 for Xbox with Call of Duty will probably come out November of 2026. State of Decay 3, then it's like, okay, a horror game, right? Zombie simulation title. You would think, okay, they're probably going to have this released somewhere around Halloween, but they're not going to want it to go up against Gears of War. Even though they're two totally separate games and they're not alike, they're not going to want to have two Xbox titles really close together. So could they do September for State of Decay 3? Maybe. Could they do the summer? I mean, maybe. You know, here's the thing. You have GTA 6 coming out in May. You want no parts of that. You don't want to be anywhere near GTA 6. Everything's going to get overshadowed by GTA 6, right? The beginning of the year, you got games like Resident Evil Requiem coming out. Well, I mean, do you really want to go up against like juggernauts, or do you want to kind of try to stand on your own a little bit, you know? And so going up against like Resident Evil Requiem would be a disaster. Going up against GTA 6 would be a disaster. Going up against Gears of War, E-Day, I think it's like a conflict almost of interest for Xbox to release two of their titles really close together. You know, you're going to want to keep them at least a month or two apart, because even releasing E-Day a month before Call of Duty, that's, you know what I'm saying? They're both shooters. Yeah, one's a third person, one's first person, but like, you know, you almost don't even want to mess with that. But nonetheless, I'll say that State of Decay 3, I just believe, guys, even though I want so badly for this game to come out, I don't want it to get overshadowed. I don't want it to have a shaky launch where it's like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation, but within State of Decay. It would ruin the franchise. Like, I'm telling you that if it has a really bad launch, doesn't do really well at first, even if it does well over time, if it doesn't get knocked out of the park pretty quickly, Undead Labs, I believe, will get shut down. I just do. Now, does that mean that State of Decay as a franchise would be done? I mean, Xbox owns the rights to it, so they could kind of decide what they want to do, but I just believe that you got to knock it out of the park. And maybe part of the reason why they're being so quiet and silent about State of Decay 3 is they just want to really fine tune a lot of the details, make sure it's ready to go, and then release information when they're fully ready for it. I just really want Undead Labs to be a little bit more transparent in terms of just communication. Like, hey guys, what's going on? We're still working on the title. We're crushing it. It looks great. Here's a quick screenshot of a landscape and it's like snow, right? Because that was the other thing I loved about the first State of Decay 1 or State of Decay 3 trailer was it was like change of season, zombie animals. There was a lot of things I loved about that first trailer. I got really locked in with the first trailer. And then the second one just looks like they kind of started deciding on, you know, as a team, they wanted to go in a different direction. I don't know why, but that's what they wanted to do. But they took too long to develop State of Decay 3, 10 years too late. It's over for the franchise. I mean, look, it wasn't 10 years, but I think that, look, guys, I'm not going to sit here and act like I am an expert at game development. Okay. I've done extensive research on, you know, how games are made and, you know, all the, you know, little intricacies, right? But there's a lot of details I don't know or don't fully understand. But what I can tell you is that a lot of these games can go into development hell cycles when you have a lot of higher ups that you have to get approvals for certain things. So like, let me give you an example. I stated, and I stand by this aggressively, that Gears of War Reloaded, when that released, guys, on August 26th, I felt that the marketing was so weak for that title. So weak. Helldivers 2 was pretty bad as well, but like, I think it was a little bit better than what Gears of War Reloaded and the Coalition was doing. But like, bro, I just Gears of War Reloaded, that marketing was just terrible to me. And we questioned why. Why? Why aren't you posting like uh 100, like 100 tweets a week or something, hyping this game up? It's free marketing. But then we were saying, what if it's not a State of Decay or Undead Labs issue? What if it's an Xbox issue? What if we worked, like, let's just say you guys, like, let's say all of us, right, that are in the stream, we all worked at Undead Labs, okay? And anytime that we wanted to post a tweet, or we wanted to show like a quick snippet of something, we had to get it approval from a higher up at Undead Labs, and then a higher up at Xbox, and then another higher up, and then another higher up. That's why there's so many, that's why Phil Spencer fired so many executives from Xbox. The process was taking too long. So there's a systemic issue there, in my personal opinion. A Heartbroken Hog with the 199. Dude, really appreciate you, brother. What if they just shadow dropped it next month? I mean, look, bro, that would be absolutely wild. I think it would be very risky. Super risky for them to do that. I really do. And I don't know if we're talking about State of Decay 3 here or what exactly, but if you're talking about State of Decay 3, I think that we are talking a risk that Xbox will not take. They would not do it for a game that I think in their minds and in their hearts, they believe that State of Decay can become a flagship IP for Xbox. I do think that. And the reason why I believe that is because it's not just Undead Labs making this thing. They're pulling resources from other studios like the Coalition and Obsidian to work on the title. So like, I just, at least to me, bro, I don't believe that they would shadow drop it, but if they did, the content, bro. The content for years, bro. Like, dude, I mean, I would love to see something like that. Now, the other thing is when you shadow drop something, you've got to be really confident in what you've got. And I'm sure that Xbox might be pretty confident, right? Maybe they are. I don't know. A part of me thinks they aren't because they're not showing nothing. It's complete radio silence from Xbox, from the Undead Labs developers, or from State of Decay 3 developers, that being like Undead Labs. It's, brother, it's quiet. Like, it's a very quiet ordeal over there. And so, bro, would I love to see it come out, like just shadow dropped? I love it, man, but I don't know, bro. I don't think it's going to happen. Other companies have done it recently. Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I mean, I'm with you. I know other companies have done it. I don't think there's other massive companies out there that are shadow dropping major IPs like that, though. Like, I could be wrong, but like, I feel like it's a lot more like indie developers that are maybe shadow dropping stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong about it. Ask your father. What's up, bro? Love your content, man. Dr. Dingo, what do you play while waiting for State of Decay? That's a great question, dude. Well, I've been struggling through Gears of War Reloaded. It's been a real struggle, and this was something I wanted to talk to you guys about. So, Gears of War announced that on their social media that they said thank you for 1 million players. So Gears of War Reloaded surpassed 1 million players, which is awesome. I think that number could have been so much bigger. And when they say that, guys, 1 million players, they're talking like, throughout its entire life expectancy. But anyways, a million players is awesome. I mean, it's nothing to like, kind of scoff at. I mean, that's awesome. It's a great number. I mean, it's like, okay, we have a building block here. Let's go to the next building block, which Extra Father, I'll be honest, update just hit. Yep, dude, in the update, look, they, nerfed the Nasher. It's, and that was pretty much the primary thing that they did here with the update. And so for those guys who don't really play Gears of War and Gears of War Reloaded, what's the Nasher inside the shotgun inside of Gears of War Reloaded has been, crazy overpowered. And it's been a little bit inconsistent as well in terms of hitboxes and stuff. And so now, it like, they're trying to nerf it, and you know what? It probably isn't going to be perfect. I'm still getting one shot downed. 20% of the time was around 34%, but still pretty bad. Yeah. Since the update hit, I have not played it yet. I'm definitely going to be playing it here soon. Just to, I got to try it out. I'm hoping that hopefully, what's cool? The one thing that's cool is that at least we're getting updates pretty consistently. That's the second update since launch. So like, I know usually when a game first comes out, you're going to have a number of updates. I like how they're kind of addressing it quicker rather than kicking the can down the road. So I'm glad about that. But I'm sure that they're not done with tweaking that stuff. Other games, guys, while waiting for State of Decay, I mean, we're talking about like other survival games. Okay, so Chronos: The New Dawn, that game, I believe just came out. I'm planning on playing that at some point. That is a survival horror game. I'm definitely planning on giving that a try. I mean, it's coming to us from Bloober Team. They're coming off of, a massive Silent Hill 2 remake, which did really well for them. And they've done like Layers of Fears, The Medium. They've done a number of games. And so I think that I need to give Chronos: The New Dawn a try. I'm looking forward to Resident Evil Requiem in February. I think that'll be cool. I mean, it looks absolutely outstanding. But honestly, dude, if I'm not playing, State of Decay for the most part, I'm playing Gears. And if I'm not playing Gears, I'm more than likely playing Call of Duty, So it's kind of between those three right now for me. I mean, I'm consistently trying to kind of keep a pulse on all three games and kind of what's happening. Call of Duty probably the least amount, but like with Gears and State of Decay, like I'm constantly, just seeing, hey, are they adding anything new to State of Decay 2? Are they, what are the things that are happening with Gears of War? Because I'm so excited for Gears of War E-Day. 1 million is pretty underwhelming considering Gears used to rival the other top shooters in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Yep. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, I thought 1 million players, like I said, I think it's great, but I think that Gears is much bigger than just 1 million players. And maybe it's kind of like a stepping stone to getting us to, the next, say 10 million players. Like, I don't know, with Gears of War E-Day or something. But look, opening everything up to PlayStation, I mean, I think is going to be huge down the road for Gears of War as a franchise. But man, bro, is it tough? Is it tough? Kind of seeing, you expand it out to PlayStation. And I was completely wrong, guys, about Gears of War Reloaded. I thought that it would have a bigger debut than Helldivers 2. I really believed that. I thought Gears of War Reloaded is going on to PlayStation. So you're going from 30 to 35 million units sold for the Xbox Series S and X. And you're expanding it now to 75 million units sold. That was the PlayStation 5. And so I was thinking to myself, bro, like Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, that's a big deal. I mean, that's cool. But like, bro, Gears of War going to PlayStation is a much bigger deal. And it was very underwhelming. And I think it was a number of things, guys. I will argue that the biggest thing was the marketing. The marketing was trash for Gears of War Reloaded. I didn't even think it was very good for Helldivers 2. I saw a lot more ads for Helldivers 2, saw it a lot more like across like social media and stuff. Social media presence for Gears, like Gears of War's acts, as well as like the Coalition, was pretty radio silent. They would tweet like one thing a day. It just made no sense to me. It just, the hype was not there. They should have been ramping up marketing like a month, 2 months before launch. But don't even get me started with that. But, you know, I think it was that. I think that Gears of War Reloaded should have launched as a collection, you know, the first 3 Gears games, so that PlayStation players would be able to go through the story on their own. They'd be able to play all the different modes, everything that Gears of War has to offer. And I do believe that those things are still coming. They gave us hints of it in Gears of War Reloaded, but I just, it needed like, how about this? Even the details. If you took Gears of War Reloaded as it was, and you just added like that people, like PlayStation players, could go into a private match and do a private match against bots, that right there is a huge upgrade. Because right now, the only way that you can really learn the mechanics is by being put in the blender of versus or going into the campaign, which really doesn't, I mean, yeah, like you can learn the basic mechanics and stuff, but you don't really know it until you get into versus. So being in a private match with bots, bro, that was a detail that I really feel. I love that private match is a thing. I just don't love that you can't do like any training grounds. No, like you can't play against bots. Like you know, whatever. And then, you know, a lot of people have argued horde mode, which was never in the first Gears of War. And so, you know, I understand why they didn't do it, but like, bro, at least when you have new people, like this is where the Coalition needs to have a pulse on the community and know like, okay, kids that are on PlayStation are going to come and play Gears and they're going to get absolutely mollywopped by these guys who are veterans and stuff. We need to do something here. And they just never did. Heartbroken Hog says you should do a State of Decay live stream. Absolutely, dude. We're planning. I'm gonna be doing actually. We're trying to put the pieces in place to do a 300-hour series of State of Decay 1 as well as State of Decay 2. We want to play the game for 300 hours. And so we're kind of putting the pieces in place for that. But yeah, for sure. Gears of War 3 easily had 1 million. Yeah, I don't really, I'm not sure about the numbers, but it's hard to say. I know Gears of War 3, yeah, it got a lot. I'm not even sure the overall like player count that Gears of War 3 got. I know it was the highest ever for Gears of War, but marketing for Reloaded was absolutely awful. Reloaded should have come last year after the E-Day announcement. Man, matter of fact, dude, that's actually a pretty good point. You know, Reloaded probably would have really done well right after the Xbox Game Showcase. If you would have said, yo guys, by the way, here's this is Gears of War Reloaded. It is Gears of War 1 revamped, remastered, whatever, remaster of a remaster. Go play it right now. And oh, by the way, it's available on PlayStation. I mean, that could have been huge, really. I mean, people would have at least given it a try. There is absolutely no doubt about it. TC just did not take into account actual new players to Gears. Their thought was, oh, they'll get the first game, but upgraded. No understanding that the game is very stale as far as content. Yeah. I mean, bro, they copied and pasted even the main menu screen and stuff, you know, from UE. You know, and I mean, that's being like nitpicky, but they could have changed some stuff, right? I mean, they could have changed little details, I feel, to make it just feel different. Because ever since the Coalition has taken over and was formed and created, we've had the same type of background, you know, just in the main menu screen. It's not that dark grittiness that we got from, Epic Games, right? From Gears of War 1 to 3, just that the Crimson Omen and just the darkness that was that the all that stuff. It was so like honestly, to be completely honest with you guys, I really feel that Gears of War, like, it just the grittiness of it, the horror elements were so like strong with the first three games. There were so many, like, even though it's not considered, guys, like a horror game, it has a lot of horror elements in it. And they really leaned into that in the first three games. And now I'm not like Gears of War 4 had definitely some, I guess you could say, some dark elements, some grittiness to it. I kind of liked the direction like that they were going when we heard that JD was going to be kind of taking over. It was kind of like Marcus was passing the torch to JD. I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. We've had Marcus all these years. A lot of times, like if a character stays around too long as the main protagonist, they almost overstay their welcome, right? And we're seeing this with like a game like The Witcher, right? You had Geralt, he was the main guy for 3 games. And then what happened? Well, now he's passing the torch to Ciri. And so Ciri now is going to be the main protagonist. And that's awesome, dude. But I guess what I'm getting at is they then changed from JD to Kate Diaz after 1 game. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to go to Kate Diaz, but give JD a couple more games. And they turned his character into a complete asshole. Like, I mean, he became a total dick, right? So I didn't like where they took his character. And so we can talk about all that stuff, but I guess the bottom line is there's too much of a brightness to it. I don't know, dude. There was just graphically awesome, but tone, setting, all that stuff, I just was not a huge fan of. And it's been awesome, like getting back into the groove with Gears of War Reloaded, kind of getting, reacclimated to a game that, kind of changed my life, right? Gears of War 1. But I almost think like the newcomers, it's like, okay, dude, like you're going to be in for a real grind here if you want to get good at this thing. I look at it more for the actual Gears of War community that's already here. It just, yeah, to a lot of people just felt like a slap in the face. It felt like it just didn't make any sense, which it would have made a lot more sense, right? If they would have just added the other 2 games as a collection. But E-Day needs to be the grittiest game since Gears of War. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think that E-Day is going, it should be. I believe that it's going to be very gritty based on the first trailer. Like that first trailer was incredible. If it's anything like that, dude, I think we're going to be in for a great title. But, we were talking about State of Decay. State of Decay trailer 1 to trailer 2, totally different. Now the difference is State of Decay 3's reveal trailer came out in 2020. And then the second trailer came out in 2024. And one trailer they were innovating, they were doing zombie animals in it and stuff, and like change of season. And then State of Decay 3's trailer 2, we saw no zombie animals. We saw a lot of the things that we saw from the first 2 games. So just enhanced graphics. So what I'm saying is that please, the coalition, like the Gears of War E-Day reveal trailer was just in a way, it was a nostalgic trailer that I believe is a great trailer. I mean, it's up there with, like Ashes to Ashes, like it's up there, right? I like from a graphic perspective, unbelievable, dude. I mean, it looks incredible. But are they innovating? I mean, maybe. Like, you're able to, like, obviously in the trailer, Marcus uses a TV to smash the locust and stuff. And so like there's little things that we see, like we're hearing rumors and rumblings that you're going to be able to, grab cover, put it over yourself, similar to like Gears of War 3. We're hearing little things like that. But the question is it innovating? And we didn't really see a lot of that with the Gears of War E-Day trailer. We just see a lot of nostalgia, right? We're going back to Marcus and Dom before it all, when Emergence began and all of that. And I'm look, believe me, look, I'm very grateful we're getting that. I'm incredibly grateful. I believe that Gear 6, um, we I just I think if the franchise went in a different direction where they would have like gone Gear 6, right, instead of E-Day, I think that they would have killed the franchise. Because I've said it a lot, guys. Rod Ferguson leaving the coalition and then people wanting him to come back after he left Blizzard from Diablo. I'm like, no, keep Rod Ferguson away from Gears. Keep Cliffy B away from Gears. I'm very grateful for Cliffy B and what he did. He brought out, in my opinion, the greatest trilogy of all time. But he also brought out Judgment, the worst. So no, I don't want to see. And then he was talking about using like flying locusts and all these different things. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be interested in seeing what it would have been, but no. Cliffy B, thank you for all you did, dude. I'm grateful for you. My childhood, like memories, all that stuff. Love you, dude. Rod Ferguson, responsible for bringing Gears back, right? And so I'm grateful for that we got Gears back, that, whatever, like it was awesome. And by the way, Rod Ferguson was there, back with Epic Games as well. But I'm just saying, like, as the guy, right, at the Coalition. We got Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Perfect. Gears of War 4, I was like, all right, there's things I liked about it. I loved certain game modes. I loved escalation. There was things I loved about it. Campaign, I mean, it was okay. I was like, all right, this direction might be interesting. It was like, all right, maybe like, can they make it even a little bit more gritty, like a little bit, like lean a little heavier into all of that, continue a JD. And then Gears 5 came, right? Gears 5 comes out, and look, I will give the Coalition that it was a valiant effort to do this semi-open world scenario in the campaign, right? I'm like, I didn't really want them to do it, but I was like, all right, well, let's see if it's any good. I'm like, man, dude, fingers crossed. I don't want them to do it again. And I believe that if we would have gotten a Gear 6, it would be a full open world Gears of War like Halo Infinite. And I believe it would have, at this point in time, I'm not saying you can't revisit it in the future, but at this point in time, it would ruin the franchise. Rod Ferguson is responsible for that. Like, responsible for doing this open world ordeal. But I believe that the biggest slap in the face that ever happened to Gears of War was Rod Ferguson renaming Gears of War to Gears. So no, I don't want Rod Ferguson back. It's not Gears, bro. That's what we call it. Like, in short, it's Gears of War. I don't care about the comparisons to God of War and all that. Like, dude, no. It was built as Gears of War. It is Gears of War. We are Gears fam. We are whatever you want to call it. But period, point blank, dude. Like, no to Rod Ferguson. Absolute no. I don't ever see an open world in Gears. Yeah, I agree, dude. We need to find out who's writing E-Day. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to. It's interesting, dude. Like, the Coalition, they keep a pretty tight lid on everything over there. Anytime you try to reach out to them, or like you want whatever, right? You just want to get like some kind of information. They don't, they don't really respond to the community. I say that, I mean, like, and then they got like an update they just released, right? Like, I'm just saying that I feel that the communication as well as the marketing and stuff, there's just a lack of it, dude. And Mike Crump over there, the studio head, I will tell you this. The thing I like about Mike, he's not in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Like we had Rod Ferguson and Cliffy B. They're all over the place. Everybody, they're like the whatever. They're like rock stars in the gaming world and this and that. But bro, Mike is kind of like in the shadows. And this E-Day project, right? It feels like it's like this is what the coalition wanted to do. They didn't even want to continue Gears 6. You know what I'm saying? And so Mike being the head over there, he might be locked in. Now, the Gears of War Reloaded thing, it could be a whole debacle, bro, where and when I say debacle, I mean it could be a situation where Xbox forced the coalition to do Gears of War Reloaded. Like, they weren't even planning on doing it. You know what I mean? Like maybe they didn't even plan on doing it. And Xbox was like, no, we need this out. We need this to go, the port it to PlayStation, be a great opportunity for us, hype up E-Day. And then E-Day obviously comes out and then they're going to use E-Day to hype up the Gears of War movie, right? That's going to probably be coming out in 2027, 2028 or whatever. But that's kind of what so a lot of it could just be Xbox, an Xbox problem. For me, Rod felt like he didn't even enjoy Gears. Mike seems like the kind of guy that wants to get something done. I might be wrong though. Yeah, I don't know. I think Rod did enjoy Gears. I do. I mean, because you could tell like how he was like passionate. Like when he said on that interview and or whatever, he said, guys, we're gonna be giving you guys after Gears 5, we're gonna be doing a Gear 6, a Gear 7, a Gears of War movies coming, all these, like he kind of promised all this stuff and he was passionate about it. And so like he is passionate, but I think he gets bored because I think he got bored with Gears and he thought it was time to move on. And it was for sure. And he moved to Blizzard and he started working on Diablo. Diablo 4 comes out. Awesome, dude. Great success. Diablo Immortal was an absolute unmitigated disaster. And, he promises the Diablo community, hey guys, you're not going to have to wait as long for another Diablo game and this, that, and the third. And then he leaves. So I think that Rod just kind of gets bored. After he's done a few things, he tries to set the franchise up for success and then he bounces. He's just, I'm out, So I don't know, it's interesting, but I wish TC would just tell us what's going on. Us creators are dying out here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I mean, none of us have really, it would be good, trust me, that if there's any like writing on the wall of like, so Gears of War Reloaded did, pretty like piss poor job in terms of the marketing and then even the numbers. I mean, we don't know the numbers yet. We're going to find, I mean, at some point we're going to find out, because Microsoft's going to have to show off their earnings and they'll, we'll see what the numbers were. Like for say Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, Gears of War Reloaded and how that did with PlayStation. We'll find the numbers. But the thing that's tough, dude, is as a Gears creator, I do think that we've got to just like rally. I think about, let me give you an example. I think about Optic Gaming here. I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but Optic Gaming, when they started, dude, they believed that Call of Duty could be something really special. And they created so much content around it and got nothing back from the developers at Call of Duty, nothing back from Activision. They got no love. They got nothing for them actually helping to build Call of Duty esports as we know them today, right? But they just kept on pounding away and like just were relentless. They kept creating content around, they loved it. It was like they were passionate, whether it was a really good Call of Duty, a bad Call of Duty, they would continue to just grind it out. And then you got the golden years of COD, then you had the dark ages, and now like you're in this like kind of shaky like situation right now with Black Ops 7 coming out. But what I'm saying is they believed in it and they forced Activision to start listening. They forced by their actions of creating tons of content and having tons of influence. I will tell you this, brother. If we want Gears of War to be a massive success, whether it's positive things that we have to say, because we can have our criticisms. Man, dude, I've been criticizing Gears of War Reloaded quite a bit. Now, I give it credit where credit's due, where there's good things. But when there's bad things, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. Like, that's just all there is to it. I'm not going to be that guy who is going to sit there and just say, yo, guys, everything's fine. Like, no, it's that I think that we need to voice concern when there's concern or when there's things that aren't working. And we also give credit where that's due as well. And in reality, over time, the point and the goal is to create between creators and developers to create like a bridge where you can go to within communication and stuff. And, I think Gears is just not at the point anymore where, like, say we were in the golden years of Gears, where like, Gears of War 3, say when that first came out and it was like, dude, this is unbelievable. The community's thriving, all that stuff. That would have been a great time for all of the creators to really create a pact with, Epic Games and just, in terms of like creating content, giving constructive feedback and things of that nature, and really building something special. And I think that with the coalition, we really haven't seen that yet. Like, it's just the communication level is not there. Now, I'm going to put part of that on the coalition, but I also put part of it on the community. I put part of it on the creators. Like, I'll give you an example, dude. Why did Gears Esports die? Well, the numbers weren't backing the esport, right? I mean, obviously, the numbers weren't there. But why? Well, the reason is because the players weren't creating content. They were just collecting paychecks. Now, sure, there were some that maybe created a little content streamed here and there, but the idea is how Optic did it, how all these teams kind of did it within esports is they created content and built brands around themselves. And then their audience came with them to watch them compete at Call of Duty or whatever, right? That's what we need with Gears. I need explosive. I need, like, we got Icy right now. I love that Icy's creating content. I love to see that from this guy because he's great. But we need to see, summons and, like I said, explosive. I mean, explosive was like the GOAT to me in Gears Esports. You need to have a bunch of people creating content around this thing, and then they build their own brands, and then that audience comes with them to watch Gears Esports or whatever, right? And it helps build the scene. Creators like myself, Extra Father, what we like, the thing is that we continue to create content. Like, you keep the flame burning so long, before you know it, at some point, it will catch fire in a major way and spread. And I think that it might not be like I said, like I keep going back to Optics, comparison, but like it might not have been the first Call of Duty. It might not have been the second one, the third one, but eventually it caught on and it caught fire. And so with Gears, I'm not saying that it's Call of Duty, but what I'm saying is it can be one of the biggest third-person shooters on the planet. I do believe it can be that, but it's going to take the coalition doing their thing, listening to the community, feedback, things of that nature, fixing things, adding things, so on and so forth. But it's also up to us as the community, pro players, everybody to create content around this thing and have more eyeballs than ever before, especially when E-Day comes out. So, you know, um, it's been a rough few years to be a Gears fan, bro. It's been rough. Yeah, no, I'm with you, dude. Uh, they've been, yeah, Gears creators out here been grinding with nothing from TC. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, here's the thing, dude. I think that there's a big opportunity within Gears of War to build an audience because there's not a lot of people that are doing it. Like it's like, let me put it to you like this. If you create Call of Duty videos right now and you're just starting out, it's going to be tough to get views, man. It's oversaturated as hell. Gears of War is one of those titles. It's not oversaturated because it's been kind of in this dark age of Gears of War for a while. It just has. Could that change with E-Day? I hope so. I really do. I think when I look at it from a multitude of different standpoints, I just think that Gears needs um it needs the community to really help fuel it over the course of time, whether it's positively or negatively. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's just honest feedback, honest criticism, honest praise, like all that. Like, that's what I think it needs, right? Because then Coalition, if they're going to do the right thing and they're consistently updating, adding things to Reloaded, and then say in a couple of months, what if we all of a sudden get Gears of War 2 and 3? I don't think that's going to happen, but let's just say it did. How wild would that be? I think that Gears of War 2 and 3 are probably going to come out, after E-Day at some point, but you just never know what's getting cooked up in the background, just in the lab, the Coalition. I'm sure they're doing a number of things. One other thing, dude, that I really would love to see though, I think that what the Coalition needs to do, without a shadow of a doubt, with Gears of War E-Day, and I'm not even talking like Reloaded. I mean, I get it to an extent because it was it's a remaster of a remaster and stuff, but I'll tell you, I believe that it could have been I think it would have been really cool if the Coalition flew out about a bunch of creators, wherever it was, Vancouver, or if it was somewhere here in the States, and they had a big, like, whether it's a LAN tournament or you get some pro players there, you get some creators there playing the new game, showing the new game out, before it's released to everybody else, and really like pumping up, kind of like what Battlefield 6 did, where showing a bunch of the creators, hyping up the game, people get Twitch drops and all these different things for watching. Because then you got some of the best players in the world, like pro Gears of War players playing it, and then people see them playing. They're like, holy shit, dude, these guys are unbelievable. This is crazy. This looks really cool. And you build hype that way. If they don't do that with E-Day, it's a massive missed opportunity, and at least in my personal opinion. So I'm hoping, I'm praying that with Gears of War E-Day, they decide to really lean in to the pros, the pro players, and the creators, doing like a big event, which to be quite honest with you, I believe they will. I think that they are absolutely going to do a pretty big event for Gears of War E-Day. Big launch, big, whatever you want to call it. I think that it's reasonable to expect that. And it is tough, dude. It is tough to be within a community where it just feels like, can something go right? And it just feels like after Judgment, we were in those dark ages, and it just feels like we're kind of in the dark ages again. Now Reloaded gives you that nostalgia feel. And I've said it a number of times. We just got to get to E-Day. just make it like playable, exciting for people until E-Day. And then, you know what I mean? And so that's just, that's just my personal opinion. And I could be wrong, but I really think that the creators who create content around Gears, we need to almost like recruit, like not even recruit. We need more people to create content around Gears because really it just helps the scene as a whole. It just does. And like I said, whether it's good things, bad things, just honest feedback, um, gameplay, news, highlights, like just the future, whatever, dude. There is so much content. Like when a game comes out, there really is so much content to be had around that game. And I think that it's sometimes as a creator, you find it hard to figure out, like after a game's been out for a while, like I know like a number of the creators within Gears of War were having trouble finding content to talk about when it came to Gears 5 because they were shutting down, like, updating the game, servicing it. They shut down Gears Esports. It just seemed like all this negative stuff. But Gears of War as a franchise is there's so much content within Gears of War. I mean, dude, bro, like this is Aspo, I don't even know. Aspo Fields. This book alone, this is a #1 New York Times bestseller from Karen Travis. This book is awesome, dude. And there's so much content in this book. And then there's another book, Jacinto's Remnant. And this one, once again, by Karen Travis, has so much content in it. And so I guess what I'm saying is there is so much lore and things to talk about within Gears, like analysis to whether it is, the future of Gears of War, lore, like all kinds of different things. I don't know, dude. It's it's just a thing where I believe that we got to keep the fire burning. At the end of the day, dude, that's all I want to see. Is I want to see all of my fellow Gears creators succeed, because if they're succeeding, it means I'm succeeding too, and we can all grow this thing fucking together, which is what I want. It just feels like it's kind of a small pact, right? Now, I think getting Icy in here, a Gears Pro who's won like, I think 15 championships, maybe it was 10 championships. I can't quite remember, but like getting Icy to do like, bro, I'm like, okay, I know he's a retired pro now. Maybe he'll return with Gears of War E-Day. But I don't know, dude. That's definitely, I'm very excited, like just to see guys like him, and hopefully he inspires others to do the same thing. Question: do you give out your gamer tag to chatters like me? Yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. So I'm on Xbox, obviously. It's just Animal Zero. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be. We will absolutely be playing State of Decay, Gears of War, guys. I've really got a lot of plans for the future. And I'm excited about it. I've got a lot of content for you guys. So if you're watching, here on Horror Theory, guys, we have got a ton of State of Decay 3 content that's coming your way. If you enjoy my Gears of War content, you guys can check that out on Animal Zero. Over there's all of my Gears of War content. That's all I upload there. And so you guys can check out all the Gears content there. And then, of course, guys, on our team channel, which is Animal, that is, we talk about everything in the world of the first-person shooter genre. So all about FPSs, whether it's COD, Battlefield. We are talking about some GTA 6. We're talking a little bit about Cyberpunk Orion. So anyways, so it's ANMLZRO. But yeah, guys, super, super excited about it. A matter of fact, and so, anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it. We have been going here. And it's been amazing talking to you guys as always. I've got a lot of content coming for all of you, and I want to just, you know what I probably should do here, guys, because you guys have been just absolutely crushing it so much for me. Um, wait a minute. You guys have been smashing the like button on a number of our videos. You guys have been just absolutely crushing it for me, man. And I'm very, very grateful for all of you. Um, we've been getting more and more new subscribers, new followers, um, and I don't know, man. The community that we're building is special. Um, and yeah, I'll definitely add you when I get on Wolf for sure. Um, but I think that we're building a really special community here around people who love uh, State of Decay, Gears of War, games, horror games in general and stuff. And I'm just very, very excited about the future. I've got a lot of things planned, and you guys are absolute. Um, you know, you guys are insane when it comes to hitting the like button on the videos and subscribing to the channel. I mean, we're growing every single day, and it's all because of you guys. And I'm really, really thankful for all of you. So we're gonna have a lot more live streams coming, a lot more shows coming. I have a lot more State of K3 content coming here on Horror Theory. Gears of War content, guys, is on my Animal Zero channel. All of our FPS content is going to be on Animal. Grateful for all of you. Thank you guys once again for joining me for this episode of Horror Theory. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure that you leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, just keep grinding, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.